Courtney, here in the finale, this quadruple header, it's all about two teams who have waited a long, long time to get here. A 13-year wait for Nebraska, a forever wait for Arkansas. Their World Series dreams are about to come true. The Arkansas starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. The Razorbacks have gone hog wild in the NCAA tournament. We could have highlighted anybody here. 7.7 runs per game on the year, 10.2 in the tourney, and Tiana Bell, their big power bat. The transfer from Cal with 2 of her 18 home runs in the Super Regionals against Duke. It's one of the great lineups in college softball, and they'll face one of the great pitchers in college softball, one of the great players in college softball, and Jordy Fromm, who has already cemented her legacy as a 2-time champ with Oklahoma, has a chance to take her legacy into the stratosphere this week and next week as a Nebraska Cornhusker. Here we go in Game 4 of 4. Opening day at the World Series 2026. It begins at 8:37 local with the ball from Jordy to Reagan Johnson. The 4-year starter for the Razorbacks, one of the all-time great Arkansas players, kicks off their first World Series game. And Johnson takes ball 2 with Susan Eads behind the plate. It's a 79-degree night. Slight winds, if any winds at all, for Arkansas and Nebraska. The loser faces UCLA tomorrow. The winner a day off, and Alabama on Saturday. Johnson slaps a 2-0 out of play.
And you can see Jordy trying to figure out this strike zone early. Went once to her drop, once to her rise on the outer half to see just how far off the plate that she can get. Jordy Fromm is going to bring it in the circle with her velocity at 70 miles an hour, up, down, and change. But it is the experience piece and the confidence that she brings in the circle for Nebraska to start out their first game.
And a jar in the nickel anytime somebody says ball in this game. 2-1 from Jordy is maybe a little bit up. Close one goes Johnson's way. The last time we saw Jordy then ball throw at the World Series was the final pitch of the 2023 season in a 2-hit, 1-walk, 10-strikeout shutout of Florida State to win the title for Oklahoma. Then a third of 4. Johnson with a half cut and miss as Jordy goes up and in for strike 2.
And she'll kind of do this unique Jordy thing too, where she brings her cleat along the dirt after a pitch and just messes up the circle too. That to me is a Jordy special. You see how messed up the chalk is out in front of her now after that swipe.
A 3-2 for Johnson. A little tapper to the left side. Ava Kuzak has no chance from short. Reagan Johnson, the all-time Arkansas hits leader, has her first at the World Series.
That was a tap-and-go special for Reagan Johnson. But this is what they're going to be facing from Jordy Fromm. Talked about up, down, and change. So 70 miles an hour, both with her rise ball and her drop ball. And then she will change speeds with her changeup. Great vertical separation. And a 58-mile-an-hour changeup. That changeup is a pitch that's gotten better and better over the course of her career. Now
the first pitch ball, that is wide to Brinley Bain. Bain, a freshman, has solidified the number 2 spot for Arkansas. Not a ton of power, but gets on base a ton. In the postseason, she has a .750 on base percentage since the start of the NCAAs. And she takes ball 2.
And Arkansas needs to be really patient. Brinley Bain is just not going to make it any easier for Jordy Fromm to try to find the strike zone because she just doesn't help out pitchers a lot. As a freshman, 51 walks with an over 500 on base percentage because of her eye. The best in D1 as a freshman.
Jesse Farrell just went out for a chat with Fromm. And they're already calling the Hogs here in Oklahoma City. Three-and-a-half-hour drive, 237 miles from Fayetteville to Oklahoma City. A vocal strike to Bain, and it's 2-1. Susan Eads has the plate. Mike Burwell, Robbie Guest, and Brian Crochet first to third. Fromm's 2-1. Swing and missed by Bain. It's 2-2.
These past couple of pitches, Doherty has just bear down and challenge Bain more over the heart of the plate, not nibbling off the corners, going at the freshman. And at this point, with the strike zone early, just saying, all right, I'm going to come at you and I'm going to challenge you.
Will she challenge again? Bain into left field, right at the left fielder, Natalia Hill, who does not bat, but does play left field in the flex position because Fromm will bat, and she has the first out. Drone's eye view of Devon Park and a great crowd for our final game. There is a lot of red and a couple of different shades of red here at Oklahoma City. First team All-American Ella McDowell is first pitch swinging down the line at third, and a nice play by Samantha Bland retires her counterpart as Johnson darts to second.
Nerves are going to be coming out. We talked about this with both Arkansas and Nebraska, and you want to get this first ground ball out of the way. Sammy Bland does a good job getting around it, but the throw pulls Bacon off the bag, and that was great footwork by the first baseman to not allow an error in this ball to get behind her. It's the most graceful footwork at first base, but it gets the job done. She kept her toe barely on the bag.
Arkansas's RBI leader, Tiana Bell, takes a changeup for a strike. Bell has knocked in 63, her only year with Arkansas, a transfer from Cal, where her head coach, Courtney Deifel, won a national championship some 24-odd years ago. Ground ball to second from Bell, and Jordy Fromm is out of the inning. Back on the World Series stage and putting up another 0. She will lead off for the Huskers when we return. That's one way to wake you up. Not that Jordy Fromm needs it. She'll lead off in the Nebraska starting lineup. Brought to you by Capital One. Starting pitcher and leadoff hitter, the USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year. Her old Oklahoma teammate Hannah Core also transferred to Nebraska. They are 1-2 in the lineup, made out by Rhonda Revelle, the head coach in her 34th year at the helm of the Huskers. And they'll face a first-team All-American in the circle, Robin Herron.
Yeah, that was her dream, Robin Herron, when she started this year, to be an All-American for the first time in her career. Has consistently put up big numbers, but has never got that award, and she got it this year in her senior year.
Herron and Peyton Burnham, the Razorbacks, have a great 1-2 punch. The experienced lefty gets the start. Herron to Fromm. First pitch high. So Jordy Fromm is doing something she never did at the World Series. Even as a two-time champ in Oklahoma, she never hit. She scored 2 runs, but never got in the batter's box. She's an old-school kid. No batting gloves, just up there hacking. A unanimous first-team All-American, the first 4-time first-team All-American pitcher since Monica Abbott, but of course she is much more than a pitcher. She's been one of the great hitters in the last 2 years in the Nebraska record books. The most home runs in a single season for a Husker a year ago. And she rips this ball through the left side. A base hit for Jordy Fromm.
You said it, her first hit at the Women's College World Series. This is almost 80 miles an hour off of the bat. Jordy went up there hacking against Robin Herron and shoots it past McDowell, who's playing a little bit up the line. Look at that. Usually you see third baseman, the power hitter, playing back behind third base bag.
A bunt laid down by Hannah Core. It's a bunt right to first. You couldn't have rolled it any better. The easiest put out in the history of Tiana Bell's career. It is a successful sacrifice, though.
Oh, that's funny. And Bell knew it, too. Like, she could tell she's finding the bag. She knew it was going to get to her on time, working on her footwork in the most unique way that you've ever seen at first base on a bunt.
Had to stretch for a bunt. Never seen that before. Jordy to second, Hannah Camen's in. And here's another interesting wrinkle in this matchup. There are a couple of former Arkansas Razorbacks Hannah Kaminson and her twin sister Lauren are both in the starting lineup, as is Casey Hoffman. 3 players who began their career at Arkansas, but are all from the state of Nebraska.
Nebraska is going up swinging early and often against Heron, being so aggressive.
And here is the head coach, Rhonda Revelle, is going to be happy about that. Her 34th year at the helm of the Huskers.
Well, they're swinging early in the count to avoid having to hit against Robin Heron with 2 strikes. When you look at the numbers that Robin Heron has put up, she's one of the best 2-strike pitchers in the country. It's so tough, especially because of her changeup. When she gets 2 strikes, it's her go-to pitch.
What else does she do so well besides that 2-strike changeup?
Yeah, it's her rise ball and her curveball that, of course, are coming from the left-hand side. So she moves the ball up, can move the ball across the plate on these lefty-on-lefty matchups like she's up against right now. But that changeup is just deadly.
Not a super high-velocity pitcher like some of the pitchers we'll see this week. Not going to be in the Carlin Pickens range. But great spin and a great mix. 4 terrific years at Arkansas. For 2-2 to her old teammate.
When you look at the numbers for Robin Heron, too, in each of the 4 years that she's pitched at Arkansas, opponents have not hit over 200 against her, which that says a lot in itself, how solid she has been since her freshman year. Courtney Deichel is the head coach at Arkansas and also their pitching coach, calling pitches for them.
Pitch number 7 to Kaminson is a freezer. Strike 3, and Heron picks up the K. One of the nation's strikeout rate leaders has her first at the World Series.
She will go up with the rise ball. She wants you to chase that pitch, and sometimes hitters often do, as well as the curveball. It is the changeup, though, where she makes her most money. I'm telling you, it is her best strikeout pitch. Just got Hannah Kaminson, froze her, able to throw that pitch through the zone. But she also has one of the best chase rates on her changeup out of any pitcher in the country.
Strikeout rate, percentage of batters you strike out. She's got the 5th highest in the country and one of 4 active D1 players on this list. Sub 200 average the last 4 years. The other 3, Nyjah Kennedy, Carlin Pickens, and Belmont's Maya Johnson, were the top 3 picks in this year's AUSL draft. 1-1 here to the cleanup hitter, Ava Kuzak, second team All Big Ten shortstop. And Kuzak hits a fly ball to right field. Brindley Bain is there. And Robin Heron has a scoreless first inning in the All-American duel. A couple of zeros on the board.
Welcome back to Oklahoma City. When we talked to Jordy Fromm about the scene in Lincoln, Nebraska last weekend, she had the biggest smile on her face when her team, the one that she grew up watching and cheering for, punched their ticket to Oklahoma City. She said it's all part of a dream that every young softball player has from the moment they pick up a bat and a ball. She said, for me, that dream was me here in Oklahoma City wearing a Nebraska uniform, and now she's here with that program. She wants it mostly for her teammates and for this Nebraska fan base that has shown up in a huge way all season long, guys.
It's an incredible story, Alyssa, for a player who was a dominant force here at the World Series 2 years with Oklahoma. And it's no slight to Oklahoma at all when you hear Jordy say that every time she dreamed of this as a kid, she dreamed of it as a Nebraska Cornhusker. Was originally committed there as a young softball player, but was one of the great recruits in the country, and Oklahoma is one heck of an opportunity. She went there, she delivered a couple of titles. It was a shock to many when they saw her enter the portal after being named the most outstanding player in 2023. But the folks close to Jordy, the folks who knew her, the folks from Nebraska, knew where her heart was set. She comes back home, tears her ACL right at the start of the 2024 season. If not for that, man, if she's not here, she doesn't get this 5th year, and she is one of 12 seniors on this Nebraska team, many of whom are from the state and looking to deliver a title to the Husker State for the first time. Dakota Kennedy, the batter, here to lead off in this second. Former All-American in Arizona. And Kennedy rips the ball to the center field for a leadoff hit. It's booted out there by Hannah Core, and Kennedy is headlong into second. Great hustle by the Arizona transfer and a little shimmy as she ends up at second.
Dakota Kennedy expected to be here at the Women's College World Series. She expected to get back after getting injured in the Oklahoma series, and I guarantee she expected to get a hit off of Jordy Fromm in her first at bat against her. A little bit of a hesitation there, but she saw the bobble, got herself into second base, and then a stake out in the outfield by Hannah Core that has experience here at the World Series with OU.
Hannah Core's error moved her to second base. And now a strike into Carly Davison. So a runner in scoring position against Jordy Fromm for the second straight inning. Remember, in 2023, Jordy did not allow a single run at the World Series. 24 2/3 innings, 33-3, strikeout to walk. And she was already dancing on the wire a little bit. Ahead of Davison, who's had an extraordinary postseason. Swings and misses, and the first strikeout for Fromm tonight.
Threw a couple of good changeups, one through the zone and then one out of the zone for the strikeout. That changeup by Jordy Fromm is going to be a big pitch for her and able to locate it in different quadrants. Great job by Farrell back behind the plate to keep that pitch in front. Looked like she was high with her body, but got her glove down low to be able to pick that.
One away for Italia Rijo. First pitch swinging down to short. Kuzak on to first. Aiken holds the bag, and there are two away with Kennedy still at second.
And it just is, when we're talking about Jordy, a remarkable story of going back to Nebraska, getting to reconnect with her family, and actually getting to kind of establish a legacy at Nebraska at home. And she has a state of Nebraska tattoo on her body as well. So much pride in the state for Jordy Fromm.
There are a lot of transfers on this roster, but a lot of those transfers are from the state. The Kaminson twins, as we mentioned, Casey Hoffman, Samantha Bland, Bella Bacon, all players who started their careers elsewhere and came back home. Left center field for Kaylee Wyckoff, driven to the wall and gone! Out of the H spot, Kaylee Wyckoff, the first ever home run, the first ever runs at the World Series for Arkansas. And the Razorbacks put a jolt into Jordy and the Huskers.
Being able to barrel up some pitches in this inning. This is over the heart of the plate. Jordy Fromm does not normally make these mistakes. She's usually painting the corners, but this one is a mistake over the heart, and Wyckoff is able to get all of it. And look how close Hannah Core was out in center field, just out of her reach. Hard hit balls in this inning for Arkansas off of Fromm.
Kaylee Wyckoff shows off the balance of this team. Her 8th home run of the season, batting in the 8th spot. And Jordy Fromm had allowed just one run in her first 20 innings in the NCAA tournament. Just the second home run she's ever allowed at the World Series. Kennedy Miller out of the 9th spot.
And when you look at her numbers, too, she's been better about keeping the ball in the ballpark this year, even against a tougher strength of schedule that Rhonda Revelle had put together for Nebraska. Coming into this game, she'd given up just 9 home runs this year. Last year, she'd given up 18.
Or 0-2 for Miller. Well, if you wondered, would Arkansas's hot streak continued. 10 runs a game in the NCAA tournament. Early returns are good. Their 11th home run in 6 NCAA tournament games. Swing and a miss by Miller. 2 strikeouts for Fromm, but 2 runs for the debutantes in the World Series ball.
And that's the thing about this Arkansas offense. It is a collective effort. Any of these players could strike. Even Kaylee Wyckoff out of the 8-hole, her 8th home run of the season. The first runs ever at the Women's College World Series for the Hogs.
The Courtney Deifel impact is real for Arkansas. First Super Regional ever in 2018. They fell short of the World Series, but 4 years later they took another step. Regular season and conference tournament titles in the SEC. Lost that Super Regional to Texas. Hosted 4 in the last 6 years and lost a couple in excruciating fashion. But as Courtney said, if you knock long enough, the door is going to open. A group that she thought was wired differently from the beginning, was balanced, was battle-tested. Before she got there, 19 years a man and never a Super Regional, 7-12 in the NCAA tournament. She has changed everything for that proud program, a proud athletic department, and a proud state. And just look at her now, a former World Series champion as a player who's trying to win it as a head coach.
Well, you said it earlier, but they have just been knocking. That's what Courtney Deifel said, been knocking on the door, coming so close, and quite frankly, quite a bit of heartbreak that this program has experienced. But at the end of the day, she said, we knew as a coaching staff it wasn't a matter of if, but when we would make it here. And their offense truly is what got them here, because when you look at the number of runs scored in the Super Regionals that they had made, it did not come close to the 24 runs that they had put up against Duke. And they finally said, you know what, we're just going to keep scoring until we make it to the Women's College World Series. And that is how they got here.
Last year, she said, it felt like it was more taken from us, like we didn't get a fair shot. And there's a reason for that. And it's partly because of the young woman of the circle, Robin Herring, falls behind Farrell 3-1. Herring and Peyton Burnham, who are the top 2 pitchers for Arkansas this year, were also the top 2 last year. And at 3 a.m. the morning of their first Super Regional game, both end up with food poisoning. So they were very limited. Robin tried to pitch game 1, couldn't get through it, as Herring walks Farrell to lead off the inning. But they are healthy now, and they are here at the World Series as we go to Alyssa.
And it's not just the current players who are so excited to be here, guys. It's the former players as well. Courtney Deifel said she heard from several players on last year's teams, previous teams, texts, videos, everything. She said, my phone literally shut down on Sunday because I had so many texts coming in. Bree Ellis was celebrating on social media and with her coach, Arkansas great, which was really cool to hear.
Yeah, she told us yesterday she had just gotten her text to under 100, which is right in the Alyssa Lang under text range as well.
True.
Don't take it personally, friends and family of Alyssa. Said they had 4 or 5 players from their first team at Super Regionals. Expected a few more to be here this week. Strike to Casey Hoffman. It's 1-1.
Well, you know, I asked her when we had a chance to talk to the coaches and players, what was the expectation when you took over this program? And first answer, compete for a national championship. They knew that they could build this the way that they wanted to and do that.
And maybe it seems easy to say that now, looking at where they were 11 years ago, but she delivered it with conviction. She's delivered just about everything in her time at Arkansas. 2-1 now from Herring to Hoffman. Fly ball to left field by Casey Hoffman. And Wyckoff, the home run hitter, is there for the first out. So her team in unfamiliar territory at the World Series, now in the familiar position of an early lead. 1-on-1 out for Samantha Bland. Bland is first pitch swinging as well. Junior from Chino Hills, California, has had a good tournament. 5 for 12 with a couple of doubles. Career 13 for 30, 5 extra base hits in the NCAA tournament.
hard hit foul balls over to these fans that don't have gloves on and try to catch that with their bare hands. And that just did not look like it went well over here on the first base side. This was the end game here, but somebody else got hit with the hands. It bounced off, and then the little girl got it.
One of the great parts this week is all the young kids who are here, the young girls who are here playing softball tournaments, or just to come with their team and take in the scene at Oklahoma City. Lined up the middle by Bland. That's in front of Johnson and skips away for a base hit. And Nebraska trying to answer back, has put 2 on with 1 out.
Bland has that big leg kick and is able to get that front foot down. It kind of hovered for a little bit. She got on time with this pitch on the outer half, 72 miles an hour off the bat. And Reagan Johnson can cover a ton of ground out there, but that's just such a tough read. That line drive was dying down in front of her.
Senior Bella Bacon. She's first pitch swinging as well. They're being very aggressive, the Cornhuskers, against Herron. Bacon only a part-time starter, just her 23rd start of the year. 16 for 48 with a home run on the season. Nebraska's really had 8 full-time starters, and then Bacon and a couple other players have rotated. No swing there, according to Mike Burwell at first. It's 1-1.
And that is the pitch that Robin Herron wants these Nebraska hitters to chase more. Change up in the dirt, not having to throw that pitch through the zone. I thought on the check swing that she attempted, I still think it here, looking at the replay.
Maybe a break for Nebraska, and it's 2-1 instead of 1-2.
Well, let's see what happens here, because that is just such a big difference maker. Could have been a 2-strike count instead of now a 2-1 count.
Usually you fall behind 0-2 against Robin Herron, and you are toast. Ground ball slowly hit by Bacon to short. Rijo makes the play. Natalia Rijo, part of a phenomenal left side of the Arkansas defense. Really a phenomenal defense overall. Second and third, 2 down for the 9-hitter Lauren Kamenson. So a former Arkansas Razorback, Lauren Kamenson, bats with 2 in scoring position. And Lauren also goes after the first pitch.
They are hunting early. So aggressive, putting pressure on Robin Herron to be perfect early in the count. Or to work more off the plate early in the count, too. Mix in that changeup more.
Last 3 hitters have gone after the first pitch. 2 on, 2 out. 2-0 Razorbacks. Fly ball hit to right. It's shallow. The second baseman, Davison, makes the catch. In foul ground, and Herron puts up a shutdown second, stranding a couple of Nebraska players in scoring position. Beautiful drone shot of Oklahoma City's Devon Park, formerly Hall of Fame Stadium, now Devon Park here in OKC, which is the site of the Women's College World Series and will be the site of 2 elimination games tomorrow. Defending champ Texas instantly on the ropes against Mississippi State, another first-timer, and then UCLA gave up the last 5. The Bruins will face the loser of this game, the winner, against Alabama on Saturday night. Also Texas Tech, Tennessee Saturday. A strike from Jordy Fromm to Reagan Johnson. A 2-run home run by Kaylee Wyckoff snapped this extraordinary streak. 28 straight scoreless, not without an earned run, scoreless innings at the World Series for Jordy Fromm. Was the most outstanding player in 2023. She did not allow a run. So the last run Jordy gave up at the World Series was a Maya Brady homer against UCLA 4 years ago.
Oh, that's just good stuff. Two and one for Reagan Johnson. What do you make of
Fromm's return to the World Series. What do you make of the Arkansas at-bats against her?
I think they've been aggressive too, and I like the way that they're hunting some mistakes. Jordy's changeup has gotten her a couple of strikeouts and looked really effective, and I think early in this game still trying to figure out this strike zone. Early in that first inning, you could tell this is what a pitcher is supposed to do, working off the plate, seeing how far off that they can get. And Jordy learned very quickly she could not get very far off the plate. So she's having to come more on the plate and trying to find that happy medium to pound the strike zone, but being able to work the edges of it and see what she can still get called.
She is slightly human, the USA Softball National Player of the Year. Johnson looking for another infield hit, and she is out. Boy, does she get down the line quickly, and Bella Bacon had to beat her to the base.
If you're just watching at home, you're probably like, oh, that's a sure out. But because Reagan Johnson has track light speed down the line, Bella Bacon then has to rush. And oftentimes when you feel like you have to rush as a defender, you make a mistake, but her foot barely gets in there before Johnson's did. Bang, bang play on just what looked like a routine ground ball to first base.
SEC high 26 infield hits, almost had her 27. One out for Brindley Bain, who takes up a little too high.
You know, the one thing that's happened in between, well, a lot has happened, actually, not just the one thing, but one of the bigger things in Jordy's life that's happened since she played here with Oklahoma was that knee injury that you mentioned. And she's been very open about how during that year when she couldn't play and had to have surgery, it renewed her love for the game and renewed her appreciation for everything. Her outlook on the game and how much she loved it, and her family, and really how much she felt like she needed to take a step back that she wouldn't have done on her own had that injury not done it for her.
Beautiful changeup to get ahead of Bain. We asked her what changes you made from when you were first here in OKC. She said, that feels like two versions of myself ago. It's only 4 years, but it's two versions of myself, according to Jordy. Her 1-2 for Brindley Bain. Lined hard into left field, and an on-rushing Hill makes the catch.
Well, in the first year that she was here, if you recall, Kevin, was in 2022, but there was an injury that she was dealing with when she was a freshman, and it was kind of covert. We didn't get to learn a lot about it, and of course, Oklahoma was pretty, you know, they're not going to tell you a lot, but she was not pitching at her full strength even her freshman year here in 2022. Within the following year, most outstanding player for OU in that national championship run.
Was there for the middle two titles and the historic four-peat for Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, of course, is not here this week. So a couple of former Sooners, and Jordy and Haddock, part of those title teams. McDowell to third, and what a play by Bland. All reaction at the hot corner. Samantha Bland, anything but.
My gosh, this got on her in a hurry, and loud out, but an even louder defensive play by Bland at the hot corner. That is truly why they call it the hot corner. McDowell got all of that, but got robbed by Bland for the third out.
A career timeline for Jordy Fromm, then Jordy Ball, a two-time national champion with the Oklahoma Sooners. Comes back to Nebraska. Throwing a pitch against Washington in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, February 8, 2024. Injures the ACL in her left knee, redshirted the year. Last season, the Big Ten Player of the Year led Nebraska one win away from the World Series, and she helps get the Huskers over the line here. Head coach Rhonda Revelle in her 34th year back at the World Series. Nebraska's first trip to the World Series in 13 years. And Big Red Nation has showed out here in Oklahoma City tonight.
And the relationship between Rhonda Revelle and Jordy Fromm is a really close-knit one. And, I mean, they've known each other for so long. Jordy Fromm used to go to Nebraska camps when she was younger and wear Nebraska across her chest for the longest time growing up. So much pride, both of those women, Rhonda Revelle and Jordy, in this program.
Fromm leading off the third against Robin Herron. Takes way up high. Well, Nebraska's had the leadoff runner on both innings. Jordy Fromm singled to start the first, was stranded at second. Jesse Farrell walked to start the second. Nebraska left runners at second and third. And now the second time through against Tarrant. And the Arkansas ace gets a foul tip past Fromm for strike one.
I always think it's a fun fact, too, when you talk about Jordy as a hitter now, that she has hit more home runs in both of her seasons at Nebraska than she's given up as a pitcher. Over 20 home runs last year, another big year this year where she's hit close to 20. She's approaching it.
Rhonda Revelle remembers the specifics. Remembers it was 1:02 p.m. on June 14th when she almost drove off the road because she got a phone call from Jordy. 2-1. And the dirt for ball three.
Talks about how mature Jordy is, how she always has been. And really, somebody, when you talk to Jordy and you want to know about Jordy, she always goes back to her teammates and her coaching staff. Jordy's probably not happy with that pitch because she's like, wait, I didn't get that one called when I was pitching. She looked really confident about that one being a ball, too, based off what she had seen in the circle for herself.
3-2 from Herron. Popped up left side. Ella McDowell's there. And Fromm thought she had ball four. Instead, Herron has out number one.
But, you know, last year, having to get to Super Regionals, and to make it to Super Regionals, they had to do it completely on the road. Nebraska did. They went to Baton Rouge, ended up winning that regional. They didn't even have to play the national seed at that regional, LSU, and then made their way to Knoxville to play Tennessee in the Super Regional. So they made it a goal this year to challenge themselves with a harder strength of schedule. Going into the regional last year, Nebraska was 1-6 against ranked opponents. So their strength of schedule overall in the year last year was 34. This year it was 12 and 14 wins over top 25 opponents. They really challenged themselves. And the goal was to get a top 16 national seed, but then I think as they had figured out how good this team was going to be, was to get a top 8 national seed and to host the first ever Super Regional in Lincoln.
The strength of schedule is 12. The non-conference strength of schedule is number 1. 5-3 against teams in his World Series field. Down to third. That is a fair ball, and McDowell makes the play. As good as it gets from third, Ella McDowell, who was robbed by the third baseman Bland in the top of the inning, makes a fine play in the bottom.
She's so good at the plate. She's so good defensively. Look at the footwork. Keeps her feet moving to work around the third base bag, by the way. That's what she was trying, to move around and not have to throw through it. Long throw that she had to make to get that out.
Now Kamens in the 3-hitter, takes low. One of the things Arkansas does so well, they are one of the best defensive teams in the country. Left center field, this should be routine for Johnson. It's a 1-2-3 inning, the first of the game. The All-American Robin Herron carving up the Cornhuskers with the middle of the Razorback order coming up.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Here with Arkansas head coach Courtney Deifel. Courtney, second inning, Kaylee Wyckoff with a big-time home run. How did that set the tone for your offense today?
Well, I think the hitters before her set the tone of just giving really good looks, putting good swings on it. And so when Wick got in there, she had a lot of confidence to go for it.
How have you seen Robin settling in as this game continues?
Well, she was feeling really good in the pen, and she brought that out on the field, and she's just getting a little bit more command each time, a little bit more spin, really trusting it and trusting her defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks.
Courtney Deifel, World Series winning catcher at Cal. Here at the World Series for the first time as a head coach. Kaylee Wyckoff, the big swing Alyssa mentioned, a 2-run home run in the second inning. The only hit for Arkansas with a runner on. And coming into the game, the story was Jordy Fromm, the National Player of the Year. But Robin Herron so far has outdueled her. Middle of the order here for Arkansas. Tiana Bell, Dakota Kennedy, Carly Davison, 3 seniors against Fromm. And Bell blasts the first pitch out of play. Arkansas, the #1 RPI in the country into the postseason, which was good enough for the 7 seed in the SEC this year. 15-9 against just a ridiculous conference schedule. Swing and a miss by Bell, 0-2. This year they went 25-10 against NCAA tournament teams. Didn't lose to a team outside the RPI top 50 all year. Didn't lose back-to-back games all season. Incredibly consistent and largely on the backs of this potent offense. I mean, in the NCAA tournament, numbers that just don't seem real. Arkansas as a team is hitting .423 with an OPS and on-base plus slugging of nearly 1,300. Bell is frozen here as Fromm has retired 5 in a row.
All 3 strikeouts have come on her changeup. This is the first one looking. This pitch is working and working well. Just froze Bell. You can see a knee buckler there. Her bottom half was saying go. Her hand stayed back. And she nailed it. Let's look there.
We got a lot of nice looks here, don't we?
We get so many good looks.
We are spoiled. And this is the long day at the World Series. 4 games guaranteed. The only game with that. Our crew's been here since very, very early this morning. Folks operating cameras, running audio, running all over the park in the control trucks, the production trucks everywhere. So the labor of love, and thanks to all of the men and women, all the folks who have been here from around sunset to well after sunrise here. It's a labor of love for us and a day for softball fans to sit back and enjoy. 2-1 to Dakota Kennedy. You mentioned earlier about Dakota Kennedy, who wanted to be at this World Series stage, and she said to us rather confidently yesterday, I wanted to be at the World Series, and I get what I want.
Yeah. It seemed like, when we asked her about getting injured in that OU series, it was game 1. I asked her, what was on your mind? She's like, I knew I was going to come back, that I was going to be back. Just so much confidence from Dakota Kennedy that she brings to this team. The transfers, and Tiana Bell and Kennedy both bring so much confidence to the middle of the order.
It was just over a month ago. You were there for the Arkansas-Oklahoma game, and it looked like a bad non-contact injury, a lower leg injury. She only missed 5 games, though. Came back against Texas 0 for 8. She's got a hit now in all 8 games since that Texas series. A 3-2 to Kennedy from Fromm. And Jordy's got another strikeout. Back-to-back Ks to begin the 4th. Sunday afternoon, 2 Eastern, 1 Central, the WWE's Clash in Italy. Catch the first hour live on ESPN. Stream the entire event on the ESPN app with an ESPN Unlimited plan. 2 down. Here's a clash with Carly Davison.
You can see Jordy is starting to use that changeup a little bit more with how geared up Arkansas was first time through the order on her harder stuff. She'd have a couple of strikeouts with her changeup, but seeming like this second time through, she's using it a little bit more.
And then she can do that. How tough of an adjustment is this for Arkansas?
To see more of those changeups? Yeah, because then she can follow it with the changeup. Follow it with a rise ball that's one of her best strikeout pitches and makes that rise ball look even tougher at the eyes. It's a good take there, just trying to expand the zone, but her best 2 strikeout pitches are her changeup and her rise ball. Her drop ball just kind of sets up everything else, but that rise and changeup are the pitches that she wants to get you out on.
Trying to strike out the side here in the 4th. And Davison waits back for that changeup. We often hear about tunneling, about pitches that look very similar out of a similar release point. How well does she tunnel the changeup and rise?
She does that very well. She is one of the best in the game, and she has been since she was a freshman at doing that. But it's been a progression where I feel like she splits the zone vertically better and better and better. That changeup is probably the best it's been in her career.
She's got all 4 strikeouts on it so far, and there's one on the rise. The middle of the order carved into pieces. 3 strikeouts for Fromm in the 4th.
When these 2 pitches are working, this is what it looks like for Jordy Fromm, where she strikes out this side, drops a changeup in for a looking strikeout, gets one with a swinging strikeout, then expands the zone up with the rise ball. Change and rise are settling in to OKC.
Here with Nebraska head coach Rhonda Revelle. Coach, when it comes to your offense, it looked like they were hunting pitches early. What has the message been to them?
Well, she's a great pitcher, and she mixes speeds, and she spreads the zone. And so we've got to do some things to get on top of her stuff that's going up, or set up and time up her slow stuff. So, she's tricky. She's tricky.
What has this night been like for Jordy so far?
I think she's really settled in. She's looking like Jordy right now. She's competing her tail off.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, you bet.
Ron Revelle, the 34th year head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, a 3-year player, so 37 of the 15 Nebraska seasons Rhonda Revelle's been a part. And her associate head coach, Lori Sipple's in her 37th year, the longest tenured female assistant in Nebraska history. What a special ride this has been for those 2 and the whole Cornhusker family. Down 2-0 in the 4th year, though. Opening round of the World Series, double elimination. All 1 to Ava Kuzak against Robin Herron. Kuzak, Farrell, and Hoffman, the middle 3 in the order for Nebraska. Just saw Jordy Fromm strike out in the middle 3 hitters for Arkansas. And Robin Herron gets a strike.
Been able to get in on these hands of the right-handed hitters really well. I mean, we're seeing a good little pitcher's duel here between Herron and Fromm.
Robin Herron has not had a great last couple of weeks either. The last 4 starts, all between 3 2/3 and 4 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 3 home runs to Alabama in an SEC tournament loss, gave up 2 home runs to Duke in a short start in a super regional their last time out. Off the end of the bat from Kuzak here, and Herron is through 3 1/3 scoreless. What's different for you? We saw Robin at the SEC tournament. What's different the last couple of starts, or 2 of the last 3 that have been tough versus tonight?
Yeah, when looking at the numbers, it seemed like people have been sitting on her curveball, which is a good approach, right? If your curveball isn't working, that's that pitch. It's going to stay lower in the zone, more of a side-to-side pitch, versus her being able to expand the zone up with her rise ball or expand the zone down with her changeup. So essentially, it's been looking like teams have taken those 2 pitches away, and she's had to come with something over the plate with her curveball. So that's what I've seen when you really look at the numbers. They've been giving up some more 2-strike hits, which you're not used to seeing from Robin Herron. That 2-strike average against her was up since we saw her at the SEC tournament.
Up only as far as 084, which tells you how dominant she was into the postseason. And that's a backdoor strike to Jessie Farrell. Junior transfer from UNLV, second team All Mountain West a year ago. Has had a great power hitting year. And Farrell rolls the ball to the gap in left center. Great break by Johnson. She holds her to 1 and throws the ball away. So Farrell will take 2. That will probably be an error on Reagan Johnson, which would snap a 132-game errorless streak.
It's a good swing by Farrell to go down and get that pitch. That would be the curveball, too, that we were just talking about, but that just not used to seeing a ball trickle around the infield or get past a defender for Arkansas, their defense has been so good.
Casey Hoffman up the middle. What a play by Riho, but she has no play. And Nebraska puts runners at the corners as the former Razorback Hoffman delivers a base hit.
Well, it's just a great play, great heads-up play, just to keep this ball on the infield. So even if Riho does not get up to make a throw, by keeping that ball in the infield, it saves the run, especially these middle infielders. That is their job with a runner in scoring position, keep a ground ball on the infield, and Riho did that.
A pinch runner coming into the game for Hoffman, and Courtney Deifel will go to the circle. It was a great effort by Riho after she just didn't bend and didn't go for that low throw from Reagan Johnson. Reagan Johnson had gone over 300 innings without an error. No error since April 6, 2024. And it looks like Arkansas is going to make a pitching change here in the fourth inning and bring in Peyton Burnham. So Robin Herron was cruising, gives up back-to-back hits. And the Razorbacks turn to the sophomore Burnham in the circle. A big spot when we return to OKC. The longest streak in at least 2.5 decades by an Arkansas outfielder is over. First error in 133 games for Reagan Johnson. Put a runner at second. There are now runners at first and third as Peyton Burnham makes her first relief appearance at the NCAA tournament. Her 9th relief outing of the year. The best ERA on the staff at 190. Not a strikeout pitcher. Comes into a first and third 1-out spot. And gets a strike on Samantha Bland.
She is more of a pitch-to-contact type pitcher than what you get from Robin Herron. Is more of a strikeout pitcher, so defense is going to have to be on its toes, which again, Arkansas has one of the best defenses in the country.
Bland to the right side. A base hit for Samantha Bland. First and third, it will remain for the Cornhuskers as Bland breaks the shutout and brings Nebraska within a run.
Bland's having a great game. Remember that catch that she made over at third base, and now she gets herself an RBI, stays down on this drop ball. She paints the corner, but look at Bland just doesn't try to do too much. That pitch was even about a ball off the plate, but when you put a swing like that on a pitch that's off the plate, you know that Bland was looking down the zone for the drop ball against Burnham.
Kennedy Williams, the pinch runner to third, and Bella Bacon destroys one, but foul. A rooftop shot for Bacon for a loud, long strike one. The Bowdoin boys are getting fired up in the Nebraska section. 3 straight hits for the Huskers. And Bacon, who's been a 3-year starter, takes outside. Throw down to second is cut off on a steal by Bland. With a great speed of Williams at third, Arkansas cuts off the throw. So Samantha Bland moves into scoring position with only 1 out. And a ground ball foul. It's 1-2. Samantha Bland with the first steal at the World Series this year. She is 11 for 11 on the year. 1-2 from Burnham. Bacon gets a piece. Ground ball to second base. To play it first to Davison. And a run scores to tie the game. Davison took the sure out. The pinch runner Williams crosses. And it's 2-2. We're all new in the fourth.
What a good piece of hitting. You saw the power that Bella Bacon had in that foul ball that went about 300 feet. But to shorten up with 2 strikes, ground ball right side with the runner at third base, less than 2 outs, just good execution for the second run of the game for Nebraska to tie it up.
And a ground ball to second from Lauren Cammons and will end the inning. 3 base hits, an error, a steal, an RBI ground out, a pitching change, a whole lot of action in the fourth inning. 2 will not do it tonight at the World Series. Nebraska has roared back to tie the Hogs. First runs in the World Series for Arkansas from Kaylee Wyckoff. However, no hits for Arkansas since, and a couple of fourth-inning runs for Nebraska have put us all square. 2-2 to the fifth we go in the last of 4 games on opening day at the World Series 2026. Jordy Fromm has retired 7 straight Arkansas hitters since then with 4 strikeouts. She has settled in. She faces 7, 8, 9 here. Wyckoff, the home run hitter, is on deck. Natalia Rijo starts it off. The 3rd-year Husker, the 5th-year softballer, the 2-time national champion Fromm.
One thing that stands out about Jordy is just her consistency over the course of her career. You see it in her numbers, you see it in her pitches, and even in her mechanics. And we talked about the swipe of the chalk out in front of her in the circle kind of being a Jordy trademark when she did that earlier in the game and messed up the circle. But also, you know, her arm swing and her motion is iconic. A lot of players, even if you didn't see Jordy's face and somebody did a motion like Jordy with the arm swing in front of her and then going through her motion, her iconic like reach toward the catcher with her glove hand and ball hand, it is Jordy Ball. It is now Jordy Fromm. It is consistent.
Consistent and dominant. Issa Torres, Megan Grant, who also had just insane seasons, were finalists for the USA Softball Player of the Year. But it was Jordy Fromm's award for her work at the plate and in the circle. A little swibber here off the bat of Rijo, and she is out. Bland, who's got a couple of hits and an RBI, has played a mean third base tonight.
Goodness. Look at the range that Bland has on this, and she's in her mind thinking the only way to get her out is if I take this ball and not let it get to Cusack. So throwing on the run, a little bit of a touch on it. That's just kind of an awkward distance to first base.
Arkansas is challenging the out call at first base. The play is now under review.
Probably guessed with the announcement. It looked like Courtney Deifel was asking Rijo on the way into the dugout if she thought she was safe. So Arkansas will use its first of 2 challenges, and they will lose.
Yep. That one's pretty clear.
Teams have 2 challenges. You can retain one if you get one right, and then from the 6th inning on, you're able to ask for a crew chief review even if you're out of challenges. So it's a pretty low risk move at this point in the game. Well, we expect this out to be confirmed.
After further review, the call at first base has been confirmed. The runner is out, and this is Arkansas' first challenge.
So 8 in a row retired since the home run by Kaylee Wyckoff, who will bat right now.
So the last 5 outs have been the Bland and Jordy show. That line drive to third base, 3 strikeouts by Jordy, and then a Bland out there showing off those defensive skills at third base.
A lot of conversation this year about the transfers into Texas Tech. Wyckoff a few years ago transferred out of Texas Tech. Was a Big 12 freshman of the year, her first year. First team all Big 12 as a sophomore. Headed to Arkansas last year. And at Texas Tech, she was a catcher. She was a right fielder, left fielder, first baseman. Started 9 or more games at 4 different positions in the field in her career. She moved from right over to left after Dakota Kennedy's injury this year, and she can hit. Again, it's Bland, a much easier opportunity, and she'll just give the ball to Jordy herself.
You mentioned earlier how Arkansas played a tough SEC schedule, and when they crunched the numbers on their own, they figured that their SEC schedule was the #2 strength of schedule out of any of the teams in the SEC. But that road experience that they gained in that tough schedule, has prepared them for moments like this and to make it to OKC.
Yeah, obviously every series in the SEC is a tough series. They faced the top 4 seeds in the SEC tournament, and they still went 15-9. Took a series at Texas during the season, went to Oklahoma as well, had to play Alabama. And the Miller, a strike, it's 0-2. Program record 26 run rule wins out of their 47 total. Doesn't look like a run rule's in the cards tonight. This thing appears to be going 7 at least. Down and into Miller, number 9 hitting catcher.
But because of that experience, Nebraska tying up the game, a tie game late in the game. Courtney Deiffel even said they handled that schedule so well. This team does not flinch.
Jordy Fromm is trying to change that. A flinchable changeup. Second time through the order. Razorbacks were 0 for 9. They're 0 for their last 10.
I don't know if you're going to believe me on this, but I think that Jordy Fromm knew she was going to swing at that even before she actually committed. She knew if she put the ball right there, swing and miss for the 6th strikeout of the game. Jordy had her first 3-up, 3-down inning in the 3rd, but in the 4th, she did it in strikeout fashion. 3 strikeouts in the 4th inning where she struck out to side, and then in the bottom half of the inning is when Nebraska did their offensive damage. 3 hits in a row. Look at these pitches all down in the zone. Getting on top of them, hitting the ball hard, using the opposite field, knocking Robin Herron out of the game. Those 3 hits, to me, those runs were generated by the momentum that Jordy had gained in the circle, looking her best yet in this game, striking out the side, and in the bottom half of the inning, tying up this game.
She's now retired 10 straight, and Nebraska, on the heels of a 2-run 4th, will begin the inning with their pitcher at the bat. Big rip by Jordy Fromm for strike 1 against the Razorback reliever Peyton Burnham. Robin Herron went 3 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk and a strikeout. Oh, hello. Right into your living room.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the dirt off the cleat, like Lindsey Grind, pitch through the dirt. So if it's not that, then, I mean, the bar is set really high last year.
You want no replays unless there's dirt in the ball. 1-2 to Jordy. 1-2 from Burnham.
Jordy, we talked to Ava Cusack about what it's like being teammates with Jordy. She said, I remember when I was here watching her play with Oklahoma, winning the Women's College World Series, and I remember thinking she was a beast. She said, if I went back and told that Ava that she'd be teammates in my future, I don't know if I'd believe her. She said, she makes us all want to run through a brick wall for her.
And they had played together, a little in club ball coming in, so it's particularly surreal for Ava Cusack, the shortstop and cleanup hitter. Fromm on the ground to McDowell, gobbled up. Low throw is there. Jordy's 1 for 3. Ella McDowell makes a clean play to start the home 5th.
When Jordy and Ava and Coach Ravel all changed out their wallpaper on their phone to be Devon Park wallpaper. See it every day.
Vanderbilt had a little bit of help with that, since she had to ask Ava how to do it when Ava Cusack came on her official visit. But here they are, no wallpaper needed. Anacora, 3-time national champion, typically off the bench for Oklahoma, down to 3rd. McDowell from her knees. The 3rd baseman tonight have made one exceptional play after another. Blandon McDowell trading defensive haymakers.
And McDowell is just a vacuum over there, going to do whatever it takes to get her body in front of that ground ball to be able to get an out. Hard hit ball, one hopper right into the gut, and she makes the play. Ella McDowell is a gamer on both sides of the ball.
And an absolute laugh riot, as we learned in person yesterday, and seen her on the Softball America podcast recently. She helps cut up, along with Tiana Bell, what Courtney Deifelis described as a very business-like team. And those two corner infielders really keep them loose. And they may need a little looseness to break through the tension of this 2-2 World Series opener. Ella just threw her glove at the foul ball, which ricocheted off the dugout. Strike two for Kamen-Zinn.
She is a character. Keeps everybody on their toes. Remember, Bree Ellis was that character for the team last year, where she's the National Player of the Year, and she graduated. And Ella McDowell and Tiana Bell, so the corners for Arkansas, keep things light, have a big personality.
Ella was telling us about how she stood on the field after losing to Ole Miss in the Supers last year. She was on deck and she watched Bree Ellis break down. She said, I never wanted to experience that again. It kept popping up, that feeling, all summer long. Random J in July or August, and it would just pop back up into my head. She was the one who caught the last out last weekend in Supers. She said it was silence. Watching the ball come into my glove, it had been a full year. And she got to experience the opposite.
And she is due up third in the top of the sixth. The 1-2-3 inning for Burnham. A 2-2 game with 2 to go. Scott, thank you, sir. We will see you maybe in a couple of innings. Maybe more. 2-2, the 5th seeded Arkansas, the 4th seeded Nebraska here in Oklahoma City, which is the sports capital of the country right now. As you just heard SVP mention, we're coming back here in the NBA for Game 7 in a couple of nights. Spurs Thunder. Thunder, the national or NBA champions a year ago. A series that began during the World Series last year, so OKC will be particularly buzzing this weekend. Reagan Johnson against Jordy Fromm in the 6th. Johnson squares and takes strike 2. The pitch count very manageable for Jordy Fromm. 68 pitches. She's retired 10 Arkansas hitters in a row since the Kaylee Wyckoff home run in the 2nd. And now she faces the lineup for a 3rd time. Johnson, an infield hit and a ground out. In an 0-2 hole. Takes ball 1.
Yeah. Both the games that we've seen tonight, we've seen aggressive offenses, low pitch counts for both sides. I mean, 69 pitches, about to be number 70 here in the top of the 6th. Low pitch counts all around because these hitters are wanting to hit early in the count. They're swinging early.
Pitch number 70. Elevated to left, and Hall is there. Talia Hill, beg your pardon, is there for the out. 11 straight set down by Fromm. 3rd time through if you're Arkansas. How do you finally put pressure on Jordan?
Look for something down, which is hard to do right now because of the height that she's throwing her rise ball. I feel like she's being able to expand it at times, but more so being able to throw it at the top of the zone. So she'll mix in that changeup in the dirt that she wants you to chase when you see something down. But do not chase that rise ball. Look down and make her bring that changeup up.
Finley Bain, 2 flyouts to left. The freshman on a 1-0. Rips one to the screen.
That's a great pitch to swing at. There have been a few times where Jordy has left pitches over the heart of the plate, especially early in the count. A couple of them Arkansas has taken. She does not make very many mistakes, but when she does, you want to see a swing like that out of the freshman at the plate.
And after a mistake, Bain gets some paint. We've seen these runs before. We've seen them on this stage in an Oklahoma uniform for Jordy, where it didn't seem like there was anybody on the planet who could touch her. Bain, a weak ground ball. Fromm will go for it, and it's dropped at first by Bacon. And that's the way Arkansas gets its first base runner in 4 innings.
Another award that Jordy got this year is a Gold Glover in the circle, and this would have been an unbelievable play. Look at her work that throw to the inside part of the field, but Bacon just can't catch it. She would have been out if Bacon can just secure this ball. The angle of that throw to avoid the runner running down the line, and the angle that she worked her arm to throw that ball to first base, that's so athletic. That is Jordy Fromm in a nutshell. She is a complete athlete, can field her position, run, drop bombs, strike people out. That's why you want Jordy Fromm on your team. She truly does it all.
And a pinch runner coming into the game for Bain.
It's a good time for a timeout here with Rhonda Revelle talking to Farrell and Fromm, and then of course BJ Gasso, a big part of this offense for Arkansas, their hitting coach.
Ryder Del Duca, the pinch runner. Well, don't forget, these teams are trying to get to the Women's College World Series Championship Finals, which begin Wednesday night right here on ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all NCAA championships.
Well, the last time that Ella McDowell came out, that was one of the hardest hit balls that we've seen tonight off of her bat. For the Arkansas hitters, it was that line drive at Bland to third base where she robbed a hit.
McDowell, a sophomore, a first-team All-American. Takes the first pitch pretty much in the heart of the plate.
It's one of those pitches that Jordy has missed on early in the count, but what she wants to do is work from ahead. She likes to pound the zone early.
On base 7 of 8 times in the Supers. 0 for 2 tonight. McDowell with a ground ball. Another chance for Fromm. Whips the throw to second. It's a dazzling double play. I think the Gold Glove Committee got it right.
I think so too. You might not see it, but there is so much spin off the bat here. Look at this backhand that she secures it. That ball is spinning like crazy. But the feed to second is a throw that is so perfect to turn that double play quickly and work out of a jam against the middle of the order.
When you've waited this long to get to the World Series, why not wait a little longer to determine who wins the nightcap of our quadruple header? Jordy Fromm in the circle has been dominant with some help from some dazzling defense. One early blemish, a Kylie Wyckoff home run gave Arkansas the edge, but the Huskers have roared back to tie this game in a matchup of two proud programs, the 4 and the 5 seeds. The stakes are high. Precious few teams have won the World Series or even made the Champ Series after a day 1 loss. The winner gets a day of rest and a date with top-seeded Alabama on Saturday nights. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough in the booth, Alyssa Lang downstairs, our wonderful ESPN crew. Nebraska at the World Series for the first time in 13 years. Arkansas at the World Series for the first time ever. And it sure seems like, partner, we're set for a fabulous finish.
I'm ready for it. Under the lights, the nightcap of a 4-game day, quadruple header. It's been an awesome day of softball.
Strike from Peyton Burnham to Ava Kuzak. Burnham has retired 5 in a row after giving up a single, allowing a couple of inherited runners to score in relief of Robin Herron. The cleanup hitter Kuzak pops the ball up, out of play.
Burnham in the circle, she'll go down with her drop and change up, and then up with her rise ball as well. So Nebraska's done a good job in that 4th inning. Remember, keying in on pitches down in the zone. So Burnham likely to move the ball up too with her change up and get them off these down pitches.
Middle of the Nebraska order. Kuzak back to Burnham. Easy underhand for the out.
And in that dugout, they're looking to pick her pitches. I could tell with Jordy Fromm and the rest of the Nebraska players that were around her as Burnham worked through that pitch. It looked like they were looking to find a change of grip, something that she's giving away with her changeup to communicate it to the hitter.
One out for Jessie Farrell, who's been aboard twice. Farrell, first pitch swinging off the end of the bat. Kaylee Wyckoff has shifted over to right field now and makes the play.
You could just tell how locked in that group is right there, just trying to find any tell that Burnham has given away late in this game and communicate it to the hitter who's up to the plate. You have 3 players that were right there by a pitcher herself and Fromm trying to find something.
Casey Hoffman had a base hit in the 4th. Kennedy Williams, who pinch ran for her, scored the tying run. So she was right in the middle of the 4th inning rally. The champions of the Big Ten, 23-1 in the league. The longest win streak in the country at 26 in a row. Nebraska has not been beaten since March 28th against UCLA. And it is May 28th. 2 months of nothing but winning. 1-1 to Hoffman. Down and out.
I love the way that Burnham is throwing, though, and coming into this game and giving Arkansas a chance. You saw how quick that Courtney Deifel was to make that change after a couple of hits off of Robin Herron to get ahead of the adjustments as much as she could. Total belief in Peyton Burnham from a really great freshman year that she had, where she just continued to have this stoic personality in the circle and mow down hitters.
Hoffman rips one to left center, and Johnson is right there. Courtney Deifel can breathe a sigh of relief. Tiana Bell, Arkansas's home run leader, is going to kick us off here in the 7th. The life of the party in Fayetteville, trying to lead the Razorbacks to victory at the World Series.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
The 10th all-time meeting and the most significant between Arkansas and Nebraska. The SEC's Razorbacks, the Big Ten's Cornhuskers, and a 2-2 tie between the 4 and 5 seeds nationally. It's a game that's felt like much more than a first-round game. Tiana Bell, the cleanup hitter, against Jordy Fromm. First pitch, a little bit too tall with a changeup. In the 5th inning or later, Tiana Bell has a couple of go-ahead home runs. 2 of the 50 in her career. The senior from Antioch, California. She homered in both games in the Super Regionals. And rips the ball through the left side here. The first real solid contact in a long time for Arkansas. Anything hit 65 or up's considered hard hit. Amanda, that was 84.
Well, and she just throws her barrel to this pitch. She has such fast bat speed and just a free swinger. Sometimes that gets her into a little bit of trouble because she'll chase, but oftentimes it helps her out for a mistake right over the heart of the plate that Arkansas had not been hitting the past few innings off of Fromm.
And you hear Arkansas is going to make a substitution, get in a pinch runner for Bell. Arkansas's second pinch runner of the game, Casey Wood, the junior, takes over as the go-ahead 7th inning run. It's the first time Arkansas has had the leadoff runner on since the 2nd inning, the only inning in which they scored. Wood only 2 for 2 as a base stealer on the year. Provides some extra speed for Dakota Kennedy. And Kennedy takes low. Another senior transfer from California. She and Tiana Bell known each other since the spring of 8th grade. Came into the portal this offseason and ended up together again at Arkansas. 2-0.
Coach Deifel had said earlier in the year about Dakota Kennedy, I don't know how we got her. I mean, they have such a huge respect for who she is and who she's been. They played against her a good bit when she was at Arizona, so they got a first-hand look at Dakota Kennedy in those moments.
She's a third-team All-American back-to-back years at Arizona. Career years in home runs, slugging, and RBI this season. And Kennedy's got a 3-0 count. She's taken a couple of very close low pitches. Any chance of a green light, 3-0?
Why not? I mean, like Dakota Kennedy, if she sees something that she likes, it's over the heart of the plate, she's going to be hacking. A veteran.
Well, she took one about as center cut as you can get, so that answers that question.
And because some of these pitches that Jordy's trying to work around the zone are not getting called, she's being forced to bring these pitches more on the plate, like that last strike to Dakota.
The pinch runner Wood at first. A 3-1 for Kennedy. Fouled away. She's late on it. A two-time All-American in the batter's box. And a four-time All-American in the circle. A 3-2 pitch with nobody out in the seventh. Inside, ball 4. A gutsy take by Kennedy, and the call goes her way.
And Fromm did not get a lot of calls in this at-bat, but great at-bat by Dakota Kennedy to take that pitch. It was close, a little bit off the inside corner, but she had confidence to take that pitch. A full count changeup that she had an idea that was not going to get called on.
Do you think Jesse Farrell having to go across the way may have cost her the call?
Could have been. I just feel like we've seen not a very wide zone tonight for both pitchers.
That's the first walk of the game for Jordy. And now Carly Davison, who's been the Hawks' hottest hitter in the postseason. She does have a couple of sack bunts this year. She squares again and pops it up for out number 1.
Well, I was just about to say, in a bunt situation, Jordy Fromm is going to go to that rise ball. It is one of the best rise balls in the game, and it's a pitch that you want to go to in a bunt situation. That pitch is moving up in the barrel that is turned around to bunt, gets the bottom half of the ball, and creates a pop-up like that with no movement of the runners up 60 feet.
After a walk, Arkansas tries to play small ball here with Davison. With 7 for 15, 6 extra base hits in the tournament, but 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Another pinch runner in for Arkansas now. It's Ramsey Walker with 1 out. Takes over for Kennedy. So 2 pinch runners in the game. And Italia Rijo, a senior, but really a redshirt junior, does have another year of eligibility. Has reached base 13 of her last 14 into today. Rijo takes a strike. Redshirted 2 years ago, missed all but 9 games because of a shoulder injury. She is an elite defensive player who has grown as a hitter. The second best on base percentage on the team. 2 on, 1 out. Strike 2 for Rijo.
Went back to that same pitch and back-to-back pitches. Getting a little bit off the edge.
Fromm in search of her 7th strikeout. And a ground ball softly to first base instead. Bacon to the base. 2 down in the inning. The pinch runners Wood to third and Walker to second. And the inning rests on the bat of the home run hitter from earlier tonight, Kaylee Wyckoff. Drama in spades on the World Series dirt.
This is back in the second inning. And a 1-0 count, got a pitch that was just center cut, and Wyckoff unleashed on it. There have been some mistakes early in the count that Fromm has given these Arkansas hitters, and Lori Sipple is going to come out and talk to Fromm and Farrell. But Wyckoff, you cannot make a mistake like that. A veteran hitter who has clearly shown she is going to be aggressive on those mistakes out over the plate.
Been waiting 30 years to call the Hogs at the World Series. Arkansas in its World Series debut is 1 for 9 with runners on base, and Wyckoff has the one. Wood and Walker the base runners. Wyckoff rips it foul.
That was a good swing. That was not a center cut pitch at all, but she saw something that was up, not too high, belt high, and just got her best swing off. That swing right there made a statement for what's to come. This changeup that Jordy Fromm is bound to throw in this at-bat has to be located well.
The most 2-out RBIs on the Arkansas roster. Kaylee Wyckoff takes up high. She is only tied for 5th in overall RBIs on the team. Nobody's knocked in more with 2 outs. 25 of her 42. A 2-1 pitch. Wyckoff on the ground to Bacon, and will go to the bottom of the 7th as Nebraska dances out of it. Bland, Bacon, Kamenzen. And if anybody gets on, Jordy Fromm. A night of tension in Oklahoma City between Arkansas and Nebraska. 2 2-run innings. The Razorbacks second, the Cornhusker fourth. Otherwise, elite pitching, elite defense, and an elite finish that we have in store. Jordy Fromm has been magnificent. She's due up 4th in the inning. Samantha Bland, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI, will start it. The Cornhuskers looking for their first World Series win in 24 years. In Arkansas, it's first in forever. Here's Bland with a fly ball to left field off of Burnham, off the end of her bat, and Kyler Del Duca's there. Peyton Burnham has looked totally unfazed. She allowed a single, the first batter she faced, to Bland. She's retired 9 in a row since then. Only 1 strikeout. She's not a strikeout pitcher, but a whole lot of weak contact against the sophomore from Eugene, Oregon. It'll be Bella Bacon. And Bacon is taken. Mike Norwell says no swing, and it's 1-0. Lauren Kamenzen next in line. The Arkansas transfer. Jordy Fromm would bat after that. Down to third is a fair ball. McDowell at the bag with a fadeaway throw in time.
She's been all over it at third base. Having a great game, just like Bland on the other side. Third basemen have stepped up in this game, and so have the pitchers. Little pitcher duel, low-scoring game, tight game against a couple of great offenses.
Now Lauren Kamenzen, 0 for 2. Nebraska's last win at the World Series, 2002. They lost the opener to Arizona 1-0. Won in the losers bracket 1-0 over Michigan. Ground ball to shortstop. 7 innings, not enough. Off 2 extras in the nightcap. Bottom then the top for the Razorbacks. Arkansas and Nebraska need at least 8 to decide it. We play on into the night. Our first extra inning game of the tournament this year. Arkansas's first extra inning game of the season. Nebraska's second. The Cornhuskers had an 11-inning loss to Oklahoma State earlier in the year. And it's Kennedy Miller, the number 9 hitter, leading off against Jordy Fromm, who has been barely touched up since that 2-run Wyckoff homer in the second. Miller fouls it off herself. Nebraska has lost almost unbelievably 5 straight extra inning games at the World Series. And their last 7 World Series games, I know we're going way, way back to before a lot of these kids were born, have been 1-run games. So if you're a Husker fan from 2013 or 2002 or 98, you're going, here we go again. A little pop-up fisted over the mound, and Miller will reach on a base hit. Nothing Lauren Kamenzen could do, as Kennedy Miller has a juicy jam shot for a leadoff knock.
She got so jammed up and just had enough on it to put it out of the reach of Jordy. And even Jordy saw that off the bat, made a drop step to go back on it. I was thinking, oh my gosh, does she have a chance to make this play back behind her? But just in no man's land, in Arkansas has their leadoff on for the 2nd inning in a row.
And Arkansas has the most pinch runners in the country, apparently. Ashton Reichart will be the 4th Razorback pinch runner used in the game. As a reminder, you can substitute for a starter and they can return to the game. You can sub them out once. Now the other starters have or will come into the game. So meeting next to the rubber for Jordy and the Nebraska infield. Leadoff hitter is on for the 4th time for Arkansas tonight. 6 hits for Arkansas, 5 for Nebraska. Reagan Johnson quite likely to bunt. Nebraska thinks. Has a team high 5 sack bunts. She squares. Takes a strike.
In a bunt situation. Again, Jordy likely to go to that rise ball. A low and away there, and Reagan Johnson, I don't think agreed with that call, but definitely caught the corner.
Bunted foul. It's 0-2.
And Arkansas has not struck out in a while. They've gone now the 3rd time through the order without striking out against Jordy. So starting to see her better. The top of the order 1 through 3 has not struck out at all against Jordy tonight.
Pitch number 99 from Nebraska's number 98 is low. Johnson led off the game with an infield hit. Strike to ball ratio fantastic for Fromm. Only the 1 walk, and it was on a borderline pitch at that. Pinch runner Reichart at first. The go-ahead run in the 8th. Taken wide for ball 2. Reagan Johnson has meant so much to this program. Courtney Deifel a couple of years ago said she's probably the fastest player we've ever had in our program. The all-time Arkansas hits leader, past Hannah McEwen in late March. And she'll slap a ball to shortstop here. Kuzak a quick flip. She gets the pinch runner Reichart for the 1st out. Question now is, will Reagan Johnson, who is 21 out of 21, try a steal? Finley Bain has returned to the game after Kyler Del Duca pinch ran and was a defensive replacement after that. First pitch dribbler back to Jordy. So Johnson up to second. Bain retired. And a runner at second base for Ella McDowell. Bain 1 for 4 with an infield hit. And another big chance for the All-American McDowell. 59 games for Arkansas this season. 59 times Ella McDowell has played third. 59 times Ella McDowell has hit third.
When you go back to last year, Ella McDowell gave Bree Ellis protection as a freshman. That's because she is such a gamer. Doesn't really ever let the moment get too big defensively or at the plate.
Just how good of a recruit was Ella McDowell. She was intentionally walked the last 11 plate appearances of her high school career. Has been everything Arkansas could have hoped for. The first ever freshman to be named an All-American in Arkansas history last year, was a third-teamer, up to a first-teamer this year. The go-ahead run at second. Reagan Johnson, the fastest Razorback. And McDowell to the left side, off the glove of Bland. Johnson scores. Ella McDowell delivers with a little floater off the Bland's glove, and it's Arkansas 3, Nebraska 2 in the 8th.
The hitters count, and McDowell is looking to hit. She gets a changeup. She's aggressive. She sees something out over the plate. She's a little bit in front of it. And finally, something is out of the reach of Bland, who has been a star at third base. But the other third baseman gets it just over her head for the go-ahead.
Remember, it was Ella McDowell's second at bat, where she hit a ball about 25 miles per hour harder. And Samantha Bland made a diving catch. So she figured out a couple of times later, just hit it soft. And now Tiana Bell. 0-2. Arkansas's first run since the second. And the Razorbacks strike first in the extra inning. All 3 runs with 2 outs tonight for Arkansas as well. Jordy Fromm with her longest outing by innings of the year. A strikeout ends the top of the 8th. Jordy will lead off the bottom for Nebraska, which is 3 outs away from another heartbreak at the World Series.
Sometimes it's just a game of inches. Whether it's the strike zone or a home run that goes over the fence or a ball off the end of the bat that gives Arkansas the lead, and they're 3 outs away.
It's only day 1, but it matters so much. 90% of the World Series champions started with a win. Yes, you could beat 2021 Oklahoma or 2018 Florida State, but the odds are not in your favor. And Arkansas and Nebraska are trying to grind out this hard-earned opener with a win. Ella McDowell's little bloop single. Score Reagan Johnson as the Razorbacks in front with Jordy Fromm, who has pitched her heart out at the World Series once again, standing in the batter's box against Peyton Burnham. 1, 2, 3 in the Nebraska lineup. And Fromm rolls a grounder foul.
Peyton Burnham has just done such a great job of throwing Nebraska off balance. A lot of soft contact, a lot of ground balls, a couple in the air, but Peyton Burnham has just come in and done her job, kept these pitches low in the zone with her changeup and her drop, and rolled a ton of ground balls.
On the single season Nebraska home run record holder takes high from Burnham.
And of course now she's given a different look, right? Because she's been going so often down in the zone, showing Jordy Fromm more up in the zone in this at bat, which she can do, and it's a great pitch for her.
Off speed, she drops in a strike. A perfect pitch.
Yep. I mean, that is a must-have pitch there, and she knew that she could just paint that corner with Hidden Freezer.
Burnham has retired 11 in a row. Up and away to Fromm, and it's 3-2. Only the third 3-ball count Burnham's been in today. She's escaped the first 2. Over to third and picked by McDowell on a line for out number 1. She has been a magnet.
just had herself a day over there at third base. Gotten tested a lot in all kinds of different ways. The go-ahead RBI now gets the first out at the bottom of the 8th.
12 in a row retired by Burnham after she allowed a single to start her outing. Hannah Core, a sac bunt and 2 groundouts. Lines the ball to deep left center. Johnson on the run, and it's gone! Hannah Core has tied it in the 8th. Her first 3 years at the World Series, she barely got to swing it as an Oklahoma Sooner. She's swinging away now, and Nebraska is alive. The 7th home run for the kid from Yorba Linda, California, who has sent Big Red Nation and the Bowling Boys into overdrive. One and one to Hannah Kamensen. Shock on one side, exultation on the other. What a moment. What a swing. And now any ball that's going to be hit, the Nebraska fans are going to lose their minds. They are juiced up.
Just seeing the reaction from Hannah Core, and they're still just like not believing it. Took her breath away, just trying to catch her breath.
In her World Series career coming into tonight, she played in 10 games. She was 0 for 3. Pinch runner, defensive replacement. Not a lot of at-bats. Into right center, Hannah Kamensen off the base of the wall. And Kamensen is in the second, the winning run in scoring position for Nebraska. Oh, so close to ending it, but they are now just one hit away, perhaps, from ending it.
Kamensen gets a pitch belt high, and Burnham has just not missed there very often, but elevated in the zone, and Kamensen almost elevates it out of here. Nebraska is squaring up some pitches here in the 8th inning, and Big Red is loving it.
And Courtney Deifel will make a change in the circle, and it's going to be a Robin Herron re-entry. How about this? The starting pitcher who got the first 10 outs is in to try to rescue the 8th. A pinch runner, Nessa McMillan, represents the winning run. The Core family as the souvenir of their life.
Hannah Core had said that some of the things that she had passed on to the rest of her teammates who haven't been before are just to take in all the sights and the smells and the feels. And this feel off of her bat like that, she's going to remember forever. The other sound she's going to remember is the roar of Big Red as they saw that go over the fence to tie up this game. What a moment for Hannah Core, who had only started 25 games in 3 years at Oklahoma. And now here she is in the starting lineup for Nebraska, hitting almost 500 in the NCAA tournament, coming into the World Series, firing up the crowd with that swing.
She told us that after the last out in Super Regionals, she dropped to her knees And then she looked up and realized everyone was celebrating and said, "Oh, I got to go celebrate." She did not need a reminder here. Celebrating from the start. From a swing they may remember for a long time around Lincoln. Ramsey Walker has come back into the game in right field, by the way. Bain moved to the designated player spot, and Herron into the circle to face Ava Kuzak. A winning run at second as Kuzak takes a strike. A kid who was here at the World Series 4 years ago when Jordy Ball was playing for Oklahoma and Ava was in the stands. Swings and misses at strike 2. Nessa McMillan, the winning run, right behind Herron. Here's her 0-2. All the Nebraska players told us yesterday how much they want to win this for Jordy. And Hanacor has Nebraska one step closer to doing just that. Trying to win it for her, trying to win it for their head coach in her 34th year, Rhonda Revelle. Win it for this Cornhusker fan base, which has come alive. A 1-2 for Kuzak. Up the middle, it'll be Rijo, the shortstop, on to first for out number 2, and now the winning run is 60 feet away. But there are 2 outs in the bottom of this 8th inning.
It's still so big, though, to advance the runner there an extra 60 feet and be 60 feet closer to scoring, because Robin Herron likes to throw that changeup. Oftentimes it goes in the dirt. Kennedy back behind the plate does a good job of blocking it, but now you have different ways to score off of mistakes.
Jesse Farrell, a walk and a hit against Herron today. Here comes Courtney Deinfel again. Arkansas 2 outs away from victory, is 1 base away from the agony of defeat.
A couple of the hits before Robin Herron had gotten taken out of the game. One was to Farrell on a curveball. I think Courtney Deinfel telling her, if we throw that curveball, you have to work it hard in. Cannot leave it out over the heart of the plate. Actually, they're going to go ahead and looks like they're going to walk her. To get that lefty on lefty matchup with Hoffman on deck.
Well,
got to be careful on an intentional walk at the World Series. We know that from last year's Champ Series.
well,
Particularly against tall, right-handed hitting catchers. Well, isn't this something? Courtney Deinfel walks Jesse Farrell to face a hitter that she once told us can put him up on Stadium Street. The former Arkansas Razorback Casey Hoffman trying to deliver Nebraska's first walk-off win since 1982. First and third, 2 down. McMillan at third, the winning run. Hoffman comes up swinging.
It's a good pitch to hit, too. That curveball that we've been talking about against Herron. It's the best pitch to hit. You don't necessarily want to go for the rise or the changeup. That curve is the best pitch to hit.
The 0-1 pitch. The new world order in college sports. A 2-year starting right fielder at Arkansas. Now a 2-year starter at Nebraska. And off it takes a time. One ball, one strike. Herron to Hoffman. 1-2.
We've had pitchers work at a really fast pace tonight. See, Hoffman is taking that timeout as Herron was wanting to quickly go into her pitch. But these nightcap games have seen pitchers quickly get up on the pitching mound and go.
Where do you try to finish her off here if you're Herron?
I'd try to go up with that rise ball, see if she chased. That last pitch was a changeup. I'd see if she gets out of her zone with this rise.
Left side, McDowell from her knees again. We play on. Ella McDowell drives in the first run in the 8th and takes away the potential game winner in the bottom. But we will go to the 9th because of Hannah Core swinging away at the World Series. A dream swing and a dream moment for these Nebraska Cornhuskers. The Cardiac Cornhuskers take this game to the 9th. Hannah Core, the home run hitting hero, as Arkansas and Nebraska trade volleys in the 8th inning. An identical line score. Two teams, one seed line apart. The loser gets UCLA tomorrow night. The winner, Alabama, on Saturday. Texas Tech, Tennessee, Saturday afternoon. ABC will be the other winner's bracket game. Two potential first-time champs in that first game, Texas Tech and Tennessee. Both potential first-time champs here. Ball one from Jordy Fromm to Dakota Kennedy. Arkansas's first trip to the World Series. Nebraska's 8th. The Cornhuskers, 8 appearances without a title, the 3rd most ever behind Oklahoma State and Tennessee. They are fighting for that all-important day one win. 90% of the champions start their World Series with a victory. And there to Kennedy, 1-1. 111 pitches for Jordy Fromm. Arkansas went Herron for 3 1/3. Burnham got him to within 2 outs of the end. Herron re-entered in the 8th. It's been Fromm going the distance. Again, she's not gotten those low pitches to Kennedy. It's 2-1. Only one team won an extra inning game in their World Series debut in the Super Regional era. It was mighty James Madison beating Oklahoma in 2021 in that unforgettable run. That's a swing according to Brian Crochet, and it's 2-2.
There to chase after that rise ball. You can see Jordy split the zone with her rise, trying to find the bottom with her drop, but not getting the call.
Pitching for the longest win streak in the country, 26 in a row for Nebraska. Kennedy chases and strikes out. 8 Ks for Fromm.
And then you were wondering when the changeup was going to come. Went down with her drop, up with her rise, and then that check swing was so important because it set up this pitch to get her to chase. If she doesn't get that check swing call, Dakota Kennedy likely doesn't chase that pitch. The pitch call might have been different in itself, but that check swing and her getting the call was so critical in that at bat.
Davison failed to bunt in the 7th. Struck out swinging her first 2 times. Carly Davison was having the best NCAA tournament of anybody. 7 for 13, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 4 walks, 13 RBIs. Nothing today. A fly ball to shallow center. Court comes sprinting in to make the catch.
She had to come a long way for that. You could just feel with the way she's prancing around back to her spot, the smile on her face, coming all the way into the infield to give the ball back to her best friend and Jordy Fromm.
Exhausted just watching her.
I know, she just ran a lot of steps right there.
She put about 4 different mini celebrations into the return to center as well. Here's Riho with 2 down. Strike 1. Huskers have Bland, Bacon, Lauren Kamenzen, 7, 8, 9 in the bottom of the 9th. Once again, Jordy Fromm, if anybody reaches. Peyton Burnham's day is done. She was a reliever. She exited. She cannot re-enter. It'll probably be Robin Herron the rest of the way. Up the ladder for strike 2.
Well, all I'm watching right now is Hannah Core. After every pitch, she's still talking to herself, just kind of doing some hand gestures in center field. You can tell that she is still just soaking up that moment of her home run.
Cornhusker fans to their feet with 2 strikes. We go 3 groundouts tonight. Pitch number 120 from Prom. All the way again. We have passed 11 p.m. Central here in Oklahoma City. Those of you watching in the Eastern Time Zone, happy Friday. SEC and Big Ten after dark in Oklahoma. Did she? Nope.
Changeup Jordy throws is just so hard to hold back on when you have 2 strikes. Good call.
Couple of foul balls. Good hold by Rijo. 1 and 2. Got her. With a fire in her eyes, Fromm strikes out 2 in a perfect 9. Electric atmosphere tonight in Oklahoma City. Arkansas and Nebraska fans have been waiting a long time for this night, and they've been going through it. They've been going through the stages tonight on both sides. But we have had the biggest Session 2 crowd in the history of the World Series. 12,605 for the night session. UCLA, Alabama, and Arkansas, Nebraska. We just continue to break records year after year here at the Women's College World Series. And I know this is a bucket list item and becoming a real must for a lot of sports fans around the country and maybe the world. Come on down to OKC. Nothing like it this time of year. Samantha Bland, the right field, on a line and caught. So Robin Herring, who threw the first 3 1/3 innings, re-entered in the 8th, got out of a big-time jam, and now will try to send this game into the 10th. First extra inning game at this World Series. Last year we had 2. The last one, Tennessee beat UCLA 5-4, walking them off on Sunday of last year on a Laura Mueller base hit. Fella Bacon fouls one away. Bacon an RBI ground out in the 2-run 4th. 3 hits and a ground out brought in the runs. Arkansas got a Kaylee Wyckoff homer in the 2nd. And the game stayed 2-2 until the 8th. Well, Jordy Fromm waiting. Perhaps she'll be pitching the top of the 10th, but a base runner means she would have a chance to hit. She's 1 for 4. Bacon muscles one over to second base. Nesson makes the play.
Well, important to note, too, we hadn't gotten to talk about her much, but freshman Alexis Jensen has not thrown yet in this game. So if we go deeper and, I don't know, whatever happens, they feel like they need to take Jordy out of the game and give Arkansas a new look. Alexis Jensen is waiting in the wings. He's a freshman, and Fromm and Jensen have just been quite the duo this year.
Rhonda Revelle is out to talk to Susan Eads, and she will pinch hit. First pinch hitter of the game. And it'll be Alina Felix, senior from Tucson, to bat for Lauren Kamenzen. One of 3 team captains, Felix. 2-run single in her only at-bat of the postseason. Just 12 at-bats on the season, 6 for 12, plus 2 walks. 4 for 6 as a pinch hitter. Called into a lefty-lefty spot. Felix drives one to right, and Bain is there, and we are not done. Our 3rd extra inning is on the way. To the 10th we go. Kaylee Wyckoff leads off for the 10th inning. This is what she did 8 innings ago to open the scoring.
Got herself a mistake early in the count, got behind it, and got enough of it to put it out of the reach of Hannah Core out in center field to ensure something. They could have caught that, but Wyckoff and Arkansas struck early in this game after Dakota Kennedy had led off that inning with a single.
They got to Jordy Fromm early. They got to her a little bit late with an 8th inning run, nothing else. Last year we had Carlin Pickens throw 9 in an extra inning win over UCLA for Tennessee. Lindsey Grine went 9 1/3 for Oregon against Ole Miss. And here's Jordy into the 10th. Alexis Jensen, the other Husker ace, has not, as far as we've seen tonight, thrown at all. In the Nebraska bullpen, she did get out there. She's hanging out. She's got a whole bucket of balls next to her, but she has not begun to throw. A spectator like the rest of us in this opening round classic. Wyckoff into shallow right field, and Hoffman's there to make the play.
Well, and you could tell that those softballs were new softballs out there by Alexis Jensen too. They're bright, shiny, perfect yellow. Those look like brand new softballs there. Look, she's starting to do her spins a little bit. This is the first piece of the warm-up. Maybe just having fun, trying to kill some time, but she's got plenty of softballs out there to pitch she would like.
Number 99 waiting while number 98 continues to throw. Down and into Kennedy Miller. What's important as you get this late in the game? What are the small details, the things that matter, particularly in the 10th inning?
Well, I think especially defensively, playing clean ball, not getting too tired, still staying in the game, even with some strikeout pitchers that we have that are going deep into this game with Heron and Fromm, but you can lose your focus a little bit in a longer game, but still making these defensive plays, because it's right here where one mistake will cost you, just like we saw in the Alabama-UCLA game. Whenever Tinsley made that mistake out over the heart of the plate and Wells was able to hit it. So mistakes defensively, whether it's with the fielders or Jordy Fromm or Heron making a mistake out over the heart of the plate.
Johnny Miller had a bloop single in the 8th, batting for only a 4th time in the 10th inning. And rips this one to 3rd, and Bland is there, and she makes another fantastic play. You'd think by the 10th these teams would have figured out, just don't hit it to 3rd.
He's still alive over there at 3rd base. And this was one of those pitches out over the heart of the plate that Miller strokes well. 76 miles an hour off the bat, but Bland and McDowell on the Arkansas side have just had themselves a night. This has been the night of the 3rd baseman in this game.
A career-high 9 2/3 for Fromm. Johnson, shortstop. Kuzak, safe the call at first. Johnson slaps out her 2nd hit.
I know Reagan Johnson is fast, but I feel like she's running a little bit extra faster tonight on this field. Bang, bang play. I'd love to see another look at this. I actually did think that she was safe watching it live.
Rhonda Revelle might like to see another look at it, too. Look at the stride. She's safe.
Yeah. And Gusak played that perfectly. Not much more that she could have done, but Reagan Johnson is like blazing
Nebraska
fast.
is challenging the safe call at first base. The play is now under review.
I think she's safe.
And And the new double bag in softball this year to try to prevent collisions at first base. Fielder has to touch the white part, the inside of the bag. The runner can get to the outside of the bag.
After review, the call has been confirmed. The runner was safe, and this is Nebraska's first challenge.
They have one remaining, but of course, sort of like whose line is it anyway now? The challenges are meaningless. The points don't matter. You can ask for a crew chief review if you lose them this late in the game. So, you try to steal here for Johnson?
I don't know about that. Maybe an account, that's what I was going to say, is maybe an account where they can predict a Jordy ball changeup that they'd be expecting in the dirt. Like, that would have been a great pitch for her to run on. Tough for Farrell to handle. She's been great back behind the plate for Jordy.
Brinley Bain, the batter, the freshman's 5th at bat. Razorbacks on-base percentage leader. Eagle-eyed freshman from Eagleville, Tennessee, having a great postseason. Bain uncoils a big swing for strike one.
You know, she is someone who works. Courtney Deifel had said she surpassed anything we thought was hard work before we saw what Brinley Bain did when she stepped on campus.
One of the top recruits in the country. Missed Tennessee softball a year ago. Johnson the go-ahead run at first. Strike at the top of the zone. 2-2. Husker fans to their feet. 132 pitches of Jordy Fromm deep. They're sticking around to the end tonight. You can guarantee that. Softly hit to Bacon. Bain is out. The top of the 10th is over. Jordy Fromm, then the home run hitter, Hannah Cord. Can Nebraska get that magic swing to end it? In one 10-inning game of the World Series last year, Oregon outlasted Ole Miss in an elimination game. And day one of the World Series, Arkansas and Nebraska soldier on to the 10th with starting pitcher Jordy Fromm, who's thrown all 10 innings, leading off against Robin Herron, who has not. Herron threw the first 3 1/3. Peyton Burnham pitched brilliantly in relief until a tying home run in the 8th by Hannah Cord. And Herron answered a couple of batters later. She's now up to 5 innings in the game. She has only struck out 1. In fact, only 2 Nebraska players have struck out. And here is Fromm with immense power in her bat, taking one immensely high. It's an Arkansas team that returned its entire pitching staff from last year, one of the best strikeout pitchers in the country in Robin Herron, and they have only struck out 2 of 36 Nebraska batters. Hannah Kamenzen in the 1st and Hannah Kamenzen in the 5th. And Kennedy Miller has an issue now. An issue with her left eye.
Severe contact.
Yeah, it could be. Eye drop time in the 10th inning. As far as we know, no pitch has been thrown where one of the Arkansas pitchers' cleat has kicked a clod of dirt onto the ball. We had that issue with the catcher last year.
Yeah, and if it did happen, our crew would be all over it.
I'll be all over it. That was right around this time. It was the midnight dirt ball, and it's 11:23, so we're getting into the midnight dirt ball zone. We talk about the pitchers and how long they have to go. It's a lot to be a catcher here, too. Behind the plate for all 10 innings, and one of these catchers is going to have to come back and do it again tomorrow. Which pretty soon is going to be one of these catchers is going to have to do it again today as Kennedy disappears into the dugout. So Miller trying to work it out. Fromm is the batter. Core, the home run hitter from the 8th. Hannah Kaminson, who nearly ended it. And there is Rhonda Revelle, 34th year head coach.
Guys, I've been standing down here, obviously, for the last few innings watching Coach Revelle, and she's just so cool, calm, collected. She's standing down here on the third base line. She's been bobbing her head to the music, smiling at the Nebraska fans. She told us yesterday this might be the calmest she's ever felt approaching the postseason. She gave all the credit to her team. They just keep me calm. She's having a great time down here.
She seems like a good hang, Alyssa. Told us yesterday, every time I'm here, I'm a decade older. You saw it there. A World Series appearance every decade since the 80s. And trying to win her first World Series game in 2.5 decades. 2-1 to Jordy Fromm. Over to first and caught. On the line by Bell, 1 away.
Well, if you're wondering why she has tape around her fingers, Alyssa Lang investigated that was all the way back in the 4th inning, and that is for pitch calling at night when she's calling the pitches, wants to make sure that Farrell can see her fingers.
Great investigative journalism. A lot of methods to her madness, Rhonda Revelle. Here's Hannah Core, who tied it with a homer in the 8th. And takes a strike here.
This home run just ignited Big Red. I think fans watching this game just got them in it. Solo home run by Hannah Core to tie things up. What a moment for her.
And she's hit. Core tied it in the 8th, and her run can now win it in the 10th.
To get this rise ball up and in her hands, not let her hands get extended after that home run. And looks like it went up by the knob of her bat as well, but you could see she took it off of her wrist. Oh, it's going to hurt.
6th batter Heron has hit this year. Hannah Kaminson. That one skips away from Miller. Core to second. Thought about third. She'll hold there. The winning run once again in scoring position on a Robin Heron wild pitch.
And you have to be careful with that. We talked about it. I think it was last inning or maybe 2 innings ago with runners on base and Heron wanting to work a changeup low in the zone.
Kaminson chips one to left field and out number 2. 1 for 5 night for Hannah Kaminson. And yet again, a 2-out opportunity for Nebraska. The captain, Ava Kuzak. Nebraska, time and time again, has had 2-out opportunities, and they have not broken through. Farrell was intentionally walked in the 8th with 2 outs. Other than that, 9 2-out at-bats. No hits. 0 for 9 for Nebraska. Big pitch time and again for the Razorbacks. Into center by Kuzak. Johnson going back. It's gone. It's over. It's Ava. Magic from Ava Kuzak, and it was worth the wait. 10 innings and 24 years later, Nebraska wins in walk-off fashion at the World Series. The kid who had to show her head coach how to put a picture of Devon Park on her phone wallpaper on her official visit a couple of years ago will now have pictures and videos to last a lifetime at Devon Park. A walk-off home run for the senior from Broomfield, Colorado. And Nebraska outlasts Arkansas to storm ahead to the winner's bracket.
When it goes before that, too, Kevin, you talked about all the little girls that are here watching the World Series be played. That was Ava Cusack. Her grandparents got her tickets. They came here to a Women's College World Series game, and her grandpa said, one day, that's going to be you. And now, hitting the home run, got the big swing. What a moment for Cusack. And Hannah Core as well. This is why you want the last at bat in all the offense in our game. You want to have the last say and a chance to walk it off.
Said her grandpa was bawling his eyes out on the field when Ava and Nebraska won to get to the World Series. And our hero is with Alyssa Lang.
Ava, you told us yesterday that you helped coach put her screensaver as Devin Park as a manifestation of being on this stage. You just hit the walk-off to open Nebraska's journey here. What's going through your mind right now?
Honestly, I'm just so grateful to be a Husker, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this team. I mean, these girls are my best friends, and I would do absolutely anything for them, and I'm just so blessed and so grateful.
Walk us through what it was like in the dugout, what the conversations were like as this went into extra innings.
I feel like we were just sitting there and we're like, we're on it. Like, we just got to keep grinding, find a way to get on. And that was honestly my plan, just get on for the girl behind me. And we were just planning on keeping our barrels going through the zone, and that was our plan.
You also told us that this team would run through a brick wall for Jordy Fromm. What did you see from her in the circle?
I mean, she is just amazing. Like, how can you not battle for that girl when she gives you every single ounce of her? And it's just insane. Like, I just love that girl. She is an amazing human and an amazing player. I mean, she is building and growing softball insane, so I just love playing behind her.
You came here to Oklahoma City as a kid with your travel ball team, and you told us your grandparents bought you tickets to come here and watch the World Series. You told your grandpa, I'm going to be here playing on that field. What do you think Grandpa's thinking right now?
I think he definitely has some tears right now, and I feel like he's definitely just going back to that moment when I sat next to him, which I am right now, too.
Go celebrate with him, Ava. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Go Big Red.
Is that not what this is all about? This sport, this game, this tournament, this family that is the world of softball? How much it means for her, how much it means for her family is hard to comprehend. She is our Capital One rewarding performance.
The swing. Pitch out over the plate, belt high, and you talk about getting your best swing off. And Ava Cusack, coming into the World Series, said our goal is just to go up and get a pitch that we can hit as hard as possible. It has been our goal the entire season. Big time production for Nebraska's offense. Robin Herron, is painful to watch that ball go over the wall, but it is not painful if you're Ava Cusack and the rest of Big Red Nation. A walk-off home run at the Women's College World Series when it was just your dream to make it here. And you're not just making it here, you're hitting home runs here and winning games for your team. This is what it's all about. Look at that face.
We were anticipating one of the most exciting World Series ever. And maybe it took a little bit of time to get there, but what a finale we had. The Cusacks have the ball, and Nebraska has the driver's wheel into the winner's bracket, or the driver's seat into the winner's bracket. What a matchup it's going to be on Saturday night. Alabama, the number 1 seed. Nebraska, the number 4 seed. The Huskers, the longest win streak in the country, now 27 in a row. The tie, the top seed. One of those teams will be one win from the Champ Series. Arkansas, got to flush it. UCLA tomorrow night in an elimination game. Wow. What a day one at the World Series. Hopefully a sign of wonderful things to come. For Amanda, Alyssa, our wonderful crew, I'm Kevin. Scott Van Pelt, I'm sorry we made you wait. I hope it was worth it. It's all yours for SportsCenter.